For this album review video, I will be reviewing Robert Mirabal's Sistole. I don't know if I pronounced the name correctly, but anyway, the Sistole album was released in 1987 on cassette only, on his Yellow Aspen Cloud Music Productions label. This album review video is going to be different because I will not be describing the musical content as much, but instead I will look at the printing process and production for what was used to print the cassette on, for what paper was used to print the cassette on. Robert Mirabal used rice paper to print the credits on the J card instead of regular standard paper that came from trees. Let's take a look and I will show you all an example. You see here, notice the lined grains and textures. Yes, the linear lines. You see, you can definitely tell that this J card was printed on rice paper instead of standard printer paper that came from trees. Robert Mirabal went the ecological route and went environmental with this as well. He went the environmental route when he decided to release this album. Instead of using standard printer paper, he used rice paper. That's what he did for the Sistole album. As I rub my fingers, the texture is much different from standard printer paper. You can tell that this is obviously rice paper or some other source of or alternative to regular printer paper. Yeah, this is definitely an alternative to printer paper that Robert Mirabal used. Anyway, here's the rest of the J card. Tao Summer Nights uses a worldly Native American woodwind selection, such as the flute for instance, which Robert Mirabal performs solo on. You see, the song Tao Summer Nights is very reminiscent of the summer nights in Taos, New Mexico, which Robert Mirabal is from. That's why you hear about his small town on his records and albums. Song to the Mayan is dedicated to ancient Mayan ancestry and ancient Mayan culture. It is dedicated to the Mayan culture overall. The Sistole album overall is a selection of flute songs composed by Robert Mirabal that are performed solo. In this album, Robert Mirabal goes solo instead of including a wide array or selection of different musicians, as he has on his other albums.